Okay, let's start Palo Alto networks. In Palo Alto, we have two types of certifications. That's your PCNSA and PCNSE. Okay, PCNSA is your administrator label and PCNSE is your expert label, or you can say the highest certification in the Palo Alto firewalls. And talking about the PCNSE certification, this PCNSE certification is a single certification, no prerequisite. You can directly write this certification, and this certificate will be valid for 2 years. Okay. Earlier, PCNSE was not valid based on the years, based on your time. Earlier, it was valid based on the version, but now it's not based on the version. Your current version of Palo Alto firewall is 9.x. Okay, so now no more valid based on the version. It's completely based on the like 2 years of validity. Okay, so we'll be looking into a customized course of your PCNSE that we are going to cover up, and we'll be doing it from the scratch. It even has raised to 9.2. Okay, so don't worry, we'll be talking with the new version, latest version we'll be discussing. Okay, and few more informations I want to give you guys. The session will be of 3 to 4 weeks, 2 hours a day, and it will be of 1 month, you can say. Okay, and it will be 4 days a week and 2 hours every day. So this is how the classes will be there from Monday to Thursday. Okay, and all the videos will be recorded. Since you can see I have started the recording. Okay, yeah, same time every day, and will continue from Monday to Thursday. Okay, and after this class again you have CCI security class. Okay, so in which you have currently going on VPN. So I hope those students are also attending, right? I can see few students from 8 to 10 batch also, right? Is anyone there with the name of Ajay Khanna? Okay, so this is the the last certification. Apart from this, you have like cyber security certification. Is it? Just a minute. Okay, Harish, you need to check your side. Whatever best it is, I have done. I have taken the extra mic so that my voice will be clear. Okay. So I was talking about the certification. This is the highest certification that you need to do, and you'll have the objective questions only. Okay. 90 to 120 minutes. It depends on your zone also. So you'll have the questions, objective questions will be there. So total 75 questions will be there. No lab, only objective questions. So with drag and drop, it might be there. Okay. So this is what you need to do. And the examination charge is around $165. Okay. It's a $165, including with GST or including your government charges and all, it might become as 180 or something like that. Okay, so this is what the PCNSE examination cost is. It's very less, right? It's even less than your CCNA certification, I guess, right guys? So how many of you guys are willing to write a PCNSE certification? Okay, good. So I have a valid dumps with me right now. I'll give you around 300 questions, and you guys prepare it and appear for the examination. Hopefully, after the 3rd of March, examinations might open. Okay, examinations might open, but I'm not sure. It depends on your US. Okay, just guys, give me a moment. Just a minute, I'll be back. Okay, so I was talking about the certification. I'll provide you guys a dumps. Okay, so you can do a preparation with the dumps. For knowledge purpose, you can attend the classes. In a classes, I'll explain you guys everything. Okay, but to do a certification, it will be easier if you guys go with the dumps and all. Okay, now all these the classes videos will be recorded. You guys will get the lab guide, which I have already prepared step by step with the screenshot. All the lab guides will be there. Okay, uh, training materials will not be provided, like the PPT which I'm using, that will not be provided. Apart from that, lab guides will be there. Okay, uh, see, examination is for everyone. Even you guys can appear for the examination from your home itself. Okay, Palo Alto provides you the examination facility from the home itself, home also, and you can also go to the Pearson Center, okay, and book your exam, or you can self make your exam from the home under the under your camera, under your webcam surveillance. So they will be monitoring you with your webcam. Okay, no labs will be there. Okay, no labs will be there. Okay, sorry, few guys were pinging me for the class. Okay, so is it clear guys regarding the certification and the validity of your PCNSE examination? Okay, and all the videos will be recorded. I'll be sharing all the videos, recordings, and the documents on my Google Drive. Okay, in your next class, I'll take your email IDs and then I'll start it. See, in a customized way, overall, I have made these documents wherein you can see it's a kind of summarized type of, the like agendas or the modules that I'm going to cover. Okay, but in depth inside that, what will be there, even that I'll tell you. Like we have a first module, it's like a platform and architectures. Okay, We have administration and management, interface configuration, L3 configuration, app ID, content ID, decryption, user ID, virtual private network, that's your VPN, HA, and Panorama. Okay. Now, if I talk about this thing little bit, elaborated way, then very first thing, you have the prerequisite is like you should have a basic fundamental understanding of the networking. I hope all of you have the basic understanding like CCNA stuff. If you don't have a knowledge of any other firewalls, not an issue. Okay, even you can learn without having the knowledge of any other firewalls. Okay. Okay, let me know like how many of you have knowledge on what type of firewalls. Tell me guys, what type of firewall knowledge do you guys have? ASA, FortiGate, FortiGate. Okay, okay. So all of you have touched anyhow some firewalls, right? That's what I need. Like I don't have to say what is firewall, at least. You know what is basically a firewall, right? Okay, that's good. Okay, so let me tell you what exactly we are going to cover in the entire PCNSE. Like we'll be discussing about the platform and architecture. Under the platform and architecture, we'll be discussing about like the Palo Alto firewalls are present in two variants, right? Either you'll have the software or you'll have the hardware. So those things we'll be discussing under the platforms, like what are the hardware modules, what are the software modules, right? And what are the platforms, like what are the software platforms on which we can deploy? What is the internal design or the architecture of the Palo Alto firewall? How the packet is being processed from one interface to the another interface, how the control plane traffic comes, what are the differences between the control plane and a data plane, how the communication happens between the control plane and data plane, and what type of communications are possible between the the control plane and data plane, differences, all those stuff we are going to discuss in this particular platform and architectures. Also we'll discuss about the specifications in the sense, like if I tell you guys to purchase one mobile phone, then what you will see before purchasing that mobile phone, what you guys will see? Answer me guys, simple question. You will see the features, you'll see the configuration, right? You'll see the specification, right? Like how much GB of RAM do you have, how much processor you have, what are the camera features, storage, all those features you will see, right? And even you will think like upcoming 2 years you don't have to change your mobile phone, right? Even you will see the future. Am I correct guys? The same way we'll be discussing about the key features, we'll be discussing about the specifications of your firewalls. We'll do the comparison between the multiple firewalls based on their features, and we'll understand what's the differences between the basic firewall, medium firewall, and higher firewalls. We have separated the firewalls in three different variants, right? Can anyone say what are those three variants based on which we have divided the firewalls in three different categories? Like this question is applied for any vendor. Yes, it's like a small office, medium, or enterprise, or it can be a ISP level or the big data center level, right? So basically, for the small organization, you'll have a small type of firewalls. For the medium organization, you can deploy the medium type of firewalls, and for the big organizations, you will deploy the big firewalls. The cost wise, it will be very high, and the features wise also, all the features will be present with the higher firewalls. Now answer my question. If you guys have a small organization, right, are you guys going to purchase a firewall which is basically a highest level of firewall, or the firewall which has more cost? Is that the good thing? No, right? Okay, same thing I want to explain you. So all those characters, all those parameters we are going to discuss in this platform and architecture. So we'll understand what exactly the specifications are there, types of specifications, comparison between the firewalls, platforms, differences, key features. Why do you need a firewall? Why do you need a Palo Alto firewall? That's a question. For example, if you guys have, if you guys are going for multiple interviews, now there is an interview for the Palo Alto firewall, and if they ask you, like, why did you go for the Palo Alto firewall, right? What is the reason behind selecting the Palo Alto firewall? Then you should have the a reason with you, right? Why did you learn the Palo Alto firewall? So to answer such type of questions, you should be aware of the key features of the Palo Alto firewall, right? So do you guys have any idea, like, why do we need a Palo Alto firewall? Since you guys are studying now a Palo Alto firewall, I would like to ask you guys, why Palo Alto firewall? Have you done any research before attending the class about the Palo Alto firewall? It's better than Cisco. That's not an answer. How do you judge that? Packet label check. Even your other firewall also does the packet label checking. High performance. Rafi says compare ASA. It's giving a layer 7 inspection. Even ASA firewall does the layer 7 inspection for the certain protocols, for not all the protocols, right? Okay, it's a next generation firewall, Satish says. Fine. What do you mean by next generation firewall? It's very easy to say it's a next generation firewall, right? But what exactly do you mean by next generation firewall? What is next generation? See, today's class is like normal discussion. It's just like understanding what you know, right? I'm trying to know your basic understanding on the security, right? And also I'll tell you what things I'm going to cover inside the PCNSC. Okay, that's what we'll have the class for today. So be free, feel free to answer my questions. Let me know your base, what exactly you know. So from that point, I can make your guys understanding. Okay, so don't hesitate to answer. Write whatever you know. Okay. Now tell me, what is next generation firewall? You guys have attended the other firewalls. You said like you have attended FortiGate firewall, checkpoint firewall, right? ASA firewall, FTD and all. Now tell me, what's the meaning of next generation? What have you understood so far? Don't Google and copy and paste. Okay, it does a content filtering, fine. Filtering functions. Other firewalls also has a filtering functions. Now, if you say filtering, then what type of filtering? I would ask you the question. Powerful security features. What does that mean? Intrusion prevention function, correct. That function is by default included. Okay. More like your intrusion prevention filtering will come under the content filtering. Okay. Layer 7 inspection. Okay. Those are the part of layer 7. I mean, like the next generation firewall. So basically, there are multiple features. There are multiple features in a firewall. Okay. When I talk about the firewall has a certain tasks only. Okay. It's not a like addition of all the features together that we call it as a next generation firewall. Okay. Like if I talk about the simple firewalling feature, then what does the firewall do? What does a simple firewall do? It does a packet filter based on layer 3, layer 4 information, right? What else it does? You can apply, you can create a VPN, you can do a routing, you can do a translation, right? What else you can do? DPI, what exactly DPI? Data loss prevention, did you mean, Harish?
Sir, deep packet inspection,
Oh,
sir.
deep packet is okay. Deep packet inspection, correct. So that deep packet inspection will be a part of next generation firewalling. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Like if you see some features like you have the policy based forwarding PBF. Okay. Policy based forwarding like ACL you say on the other devices, right? A kind of ACL you can say, right? What else? You can go for transparent firewall, right? So these are the features of the firewall. These are basically called as a firewall features. Okay. These are not basically called as a next generation features. Like your ASA firewall has these features. It works with these things. Right. Now, when I talk about the next generation firewalling, next generation feature, then what type of feature would you say? Like you have application filter. You should be able to create a custom application, right? You have URL filter, you have application filtering based on the services, app filter based on services. After that you have a content filter. In a content filter again multiple thing comes. Your IPS IDS comes under the content filtering. Like total 8 types of content filterings you have in the Palo Alto firewall. We'll talk about that. Like for example, I'll tell you it's like a antivirus, anti-spyware, vulnerability, file filtering, data filtering, right? So such way you have the multiple types of filterings under the content filtering. So altogether we can say as a content filtering, right? You have a deep packet inspection. Okay, what does deep packet inspection mean? Like it also has the application visibility control, AVC feature, right? And you also have modern malware filtering, modern malware filtering. That's basically called as a wildfire system. wildfire device, you can say. It also has a cloud-based service. So guys, when all these features and the previous firewalling features gets together, then we basically called it as a next generation firewall. Wildfire is like a sandbox, correct? Okay, we basically call it as a modern malware filtering in a term of Palo Alto, and we say it as a device called as a wildfire. Like in Cisco, we have advanced malware protection AMP, right? In the same way, here we have the wildfire. So when all these advanced features gets clubbed together, then a next generation firewall gets created. Okay. By default, all the features will not be enabled on the next generation firewall. If it happens like that, then the processing of your device might be slow. For that reason, they don't enable the advanced features with your firewalling feature. So by default, firewalling features will be enabled. Apart from that, any features that you want to work with, you have to enable it manually. Okay. Now, did you guys understand what is next generation firewall? Now, these things individually, I'll be discussing in the individual classes. But overall, if you guys are asked like what is next generation firewall, then you can say a clubbed features together, like a firewalling feature and a next generation filtering features clubbed together in a single device is basically a next generation firewall. Okay, like you can filter the applications, you can also do the deep inspection in the sense, now let's say for example I have a face okay I have a Facebook website, right? Inside the Facebook, what are the micro applications present? There is a single page called the Facebook, right? Inside the Facebook, do we have the another applications? Okay, we have chat, video chat, audio chat. We can download, we can upload, right? We can post, we can play sports, right? In this way, we have multiple other features, right? You can go for video streaming, right? So what if in your organization all the the candidates or all your internal employees starts streaming all these things, then what will happen? Let's say I have 100 employees in a company, and all these hundreds of employees are, some of them are enjoying video, some of them are enjoying video chat, downloading, uploading, in that scenario, what will happen? Bandwidth consumption will be there, right? Correct. So if I tell you to block a Facebook, then you would block the Facebook based on the URL called www.facebook.com, or you might block IP of the Facebook. But I don't want the entire Facebook to be blocked. I want all other, the applications which are present on the Facebook, those things should be blocked, right? Such type of inspections are basically called as a deep packet inspection, right? Or we also call it as a application visibility control. See, deep packet inspection has a multiple meanings. Like if any application is passing through the firewall, then that application has some kind of vulnerabilities, checking against the content filtering. That is also basically called as a deep packet inspection. So deep packet inspection comes in a multiple meanings, right? So this is like having the application visibility and doing a control upon that. Okay, so we call it as a AVC, and we also call it as a kind of deep packet inspection, right? So guys, am I clear with the term next generation firewall? Apart from this, I might be missing few more things, like I'll tell you so you guys can understand from here. We'll understand the packet flow of the firewall, like how the packet is passing through the firewall, how the packet is being processed. We'll understand the administration and the management part of the firewall, like we'll create a user with certain privileges that will access the firewall. Okay, in an organization you might need a users with the different privileges, right? Like operator, device management, admin. So we'll understand here how do you use such type of administration and management. After that, we'll understand the interface configuration, like we have the interface configuration. Okay, like we can configure it in a different ways, like L2 interface, L3 interface, virtual wire interface, tap interface. Apart from that, also we have the HA interface, right? We have the other interfaces that we can configure. So on the Palo Alto firewall, different interfaces configurations are there, and what are the functionalities of each and every interfaces, that we'll understand. Then specifically we'll come to the L3 interface configuration. We'll configure L3 interface. There is something called as a concept called virtual router configuration. If you understand this virtual router concept, then you will understand the routing part of your Palo Alto firewall. Let me ask you guys, like how many of you are aware of the uh, VRF concept, VRF concept in Cisco? How many of you guys are aware of this? Hmm. Those who might have done the training till CCNP label, routing and switching, they will be knowing this VRF concept. So it's just similar to VRF concept. Yes, no worries. I'll make you understand completely. So this is like a VRF concept over here. It has a separate virtual routing table, and inside that routing table, your interfaces should be allocated to communicate with. Okay. After that, we have a security policies. We'll be creating a policies to communicate from one zone to another zone. Okay. Your Palo Alto firewall, your Palo Alto firewall is completely zone-based firewall. It's a complete zone-based firewall. It takes all the decisions, giving a priority to the zone. It's not like a checkpoint firewall. In a checkpoint firewall, you don't have a zone concept at all. There is no decisions taken based on these zones. That's completely a policy-based firewall. But when you talk about the Palo Alto firewall, it's completely zone-based firewall. It takes decision based on the zones. After that, we have a Palo Alto firewall network configuration, user ID integration. We'll see Active Directory. We'll see captive portal user authentication. We'll understand the captive portal differences. Okay. We'll use the different types of translations. I hope you guys are aware of the word translation. How many of you have heard about the captive portal? What is captive portal? In other firewalls also they use this term, captive portal. Do you guys have that idea, like what is captive portal? Give me a minute, guys. Are you guys aware of captive portal? It can be used for all the types of access, wired, wireless. It's like a authentication page. Okay, it can be for wired, wireless, everything. Okay, later on I'll discuss about that. After that, we have a translations, we have a security zones, traffic processing, understanding, we have a threat prevention capabilities. Like I told you about the content filtering, right? So all the content filterings will happen over here. We'll understand like few content filterings, like anti-spyware, antivirus, like IPS configuration. We'll understand we'll do the practical of this anti-spyware filtering. Okay. We'll understand what is wildfire, what is data loss prevention or data leakage prevention. We'll also understand decryption, SSL decryption. Like SSL decryption will be like, can we simulate threat prevention? Yes, we can. We'll do it practically. Okay. We'll do a SSL decryption as well. So SSL decryption is like, by default, your firewall has visibility only to the clear text. It has a visibility only to the clear text traffic. Does not have a visibility to the encrypted traffic. Do you guys understand clear text and the encrypted traffic? Differences between them? I hope all of you understand that. So by default, your firewall will not have a visibility to the encrypted traffic. So how will you decrypt the packet and make the packets visible to your firewall and apply the policies or match the packets against the configured policies? For that, we understand the decryption. After that, we'll see a kind of redundancy, okay, like a HA. In a HA, we have the split brain situation. We'll understand the active passive firewall. We'll also see like a difference between the inbound and outbound proxy. What is active passive firewall? We'll do the configuration. We'll understand active firewall concept, but no practical for the active. We'll understand where do we configure like BGP, OSPF type of the multiple protocols. We'll understand the other situations of the ISP label. Okay. And we'll understand the VPN configuration. We'll go for like VPN configuration with IPsec. Okay, in a VPN section, we have too many things to discuss, like till packet level. If you guys want to go, then keep studying about the VPNs and the IPsec features from right now. So in depth, we are going to discuss about the IPsec. After that, we'll discuss about the different type. In a VPN, we are going to discuss, I mean, like in IPsec, we are going to discuss about the multiple types of IK versions. Okay, like IKv1, IKv2, and the differences between them, benefits, We'll also understand what's basically a main mode, aggressive mode, what's a remote access VPN, right? And we'll also understand the concept of like panorama. Okay, so these are in depth, the customized things that we are going to cover in this entire Palo Alto firewall training. Okay, apart from this, see, this was a short type of information, and the word file which I had shown you right now, that was in detail that I'm going to cover. Okay, so from tomorrow onwards we'll be covering all these things. Okay, starting with the platform and the architecture. Okay, and slowly we'll be understanding all the features. So first week we'll be understanding all the theoretical part, and after that I'll provide you guys devices like Palo Alto firewall. I'll be providing you, that's a virtual firewall, VM, and you guys can create your own lab. If you have the sufficient resources with you, then you can create your own lab. And also I'll be creating the lab from the scratch in front of you. Even I'll create a diagram itself in front of you. Okay, so that you will understand each and everything from the basics. 10 GB RAM is like, okay, somehow you can make it work, but not the entire lab. If you have at least 16 GB RAM, then it's fine. Do you guys have any queries, any questions? Let me know. Any questions? There is clustering, but it won't support with the basic model numbers. Any certification is good for everyone. Either it is fresher or it's experienced. You get the adds-on value. But first of all, knowledge will matter. Then go for the certifications. Okay. I told you, Mustafa, I'll be discussing about the specification. So when I discuss about the specification, you'll get the knowledge like how to choose the right firewall, right? Okay. Anything else? Be open. Ask me any question that you have. At the end of class, you can ask me any questions. Let it be anything, but try to ask relevant questions. Okay, so from tomorrow we'll be starting our training. Then if anyone else is missing, they can continue, at least they can catch up tomorrow. Okay, and keep studying about the Palo Alto. Right now I want more and more questions from your side. Okay. Okay, I'll see you guys tomorrow at the same time. Take care. Yeah, welcome.